Comic Day is just a few days away, so here are my top 10 most anticipated. Hey comic fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do Spider Slayer's Top 10 Most Anticipated Comics of the Week, and this is for the week of 2/13/19. That's right, fans. So, yeah, this is the video series where each and every week I show you, the fans, my top 10 most anticipated comics. It's pretty simple, and at any time, guys, make sure that you put your top 10 most anticipated, or your 5, or your 3, or maybe just your number 1 pick of the week. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. So, without further ado, let's start this countdown with our book that are on the hot seat. That's right, fans. So, the hot seat is obviously the segment where I talk about my books that I'm possibly thinking about dropping, that I'm not too happy with these days, okay? And that first book that's on the hot seat is Wonder Woman. This is issue 64. Every time there's a new writer or a new artist, I always seem to give this book a try to see if I can get into the character or draw me in. And the only person that's ever done that was Meredith Finch. I really liked her run on Wonder Woman. This one by G. Willow Wilson is just, so far, it's not getting it for me. We have a new artist change, which is a plus, but the introduction to this last story, I just didn't like it with her, like, little god creatures that were banished to Earth and stuff like that. There was just, like, no Wonder Woman in the issue, so I was like, if I'm looking for a Wonder Woman issue, she wasn't even in it. So, I'm real hesitant about this one, about this series going forward, so that's why this book is on the hot seat. Alright. So the next book that's on the hot seat is actually the Superman series, and this is issue 8. You know, last issue we were promised all these secrets of John and all this other stuff and where's he's been, and it didn't give you really anything, very much of anything, right? It was just like, he went to this place and Lois went back, and it was just, it's such a slow burn type of series, and I get it. That's the way Brian Michael Bendis tells his stories. But I just feel like there's such little progression in the Superman stories, and that's what I'm so disappointed with. And it made it seem like John was kind of evil on some of the covers, like he changed and his personality, but you didn't see any of that. I wanted more from the last issue. So we're getting really, really close for me to just actually not reading Superman right now. So we'll see what happens with this issue. Maybe we get some more progression. We'll see. Alright, so without further ado, let's officially kick off the countdown with number 10. And number 10 goes to Wonder Twins issue 1. Now, when I was a kid, I used to watch like the Justice League, Hall of Justice, all that nonsense. And the Wonder Twins were there, you know. Wonder Twin powers, activate, you know. I'll form a Falcon. The other person would form freaking water or an ice chest or something like that, right? I mean, it was crazy. So, I'm looking forward to it. This may not be the Wonder Twins that were promised, you know, or what we once knew. This could be a different team. They're actually getting like monitor duty at the Hall of Justice, so that might be cool. So, I don't know, maybe this is comical. We're getting a different writer on this book, so this is not Brian Michael Bendis. The writer is Mark Russell, and the first issue is $3.99. So, I'm looking forward to it, so we'll see what happens. Alright, next, going on to number 9. Number 9 is Spawn Kills Everyone, Part 2. This is issue 3. Really like that second issue. You know, Spawn is all depressed because he's like, he had a bunch of spawn babies, like he calls them like turd babies, and he just can't get himself, he's depressed, he can't get himself out of bed to make his monthly quota of killing people. And if he doesn't make his quota of killing heroes and things like that, you know, people are not gonna his status is going to go down. So what happens is his little turd babies feel bad for him, and now they're killing all the superheroes, and they're causing problems amongst the Earth and whatnot. You get to see him like kill Captain America and Hulk in the last issue, and I thought it was comical. It actually wasn't overdone, and I liked it. So I'm looking forward to the next issue, and just keep an open mind with it, and you'll have fun with it. All right. So moving forward, we go to number 8, and my number 8 most anticipated book of the week goes to Captain Marvel issue 2. I liked Captain Marvel issue 1. I liked how they reintroduced Carol. I like how they got relationships back together, especially with Spider-Woman. I thought that was kind of cool. But then where she ended up at the end of it, I was kind of like, it was like Mad Max type of thing. I don't know. It's like, I think it's Manhattan has been taken over, and now she's got to get a bunch of her heroes or friends that she's known, and they got to save Manhattan the way it's become. It's become this apocalyptic-like place, and I don't know. I just didn't like that direction that it took at the very end of the book. But overall, the issue was written really well. So looking to see what happens with this next issue and where the overall direction is going to go when it comes to Captain Marvel. All right. So moving on to number 7, and number 7 goes to Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider. This is issue 5, $3.99 book. This truly now starts the story of Gwen Stacy in this second volume of Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider or whatever you want to call it. I thought that was going to happen last issue, but it dealt with the loss of all the Spider family, I guess, the extended family, and she had to break the bad news. Well, in this issue, it promises to go to Gwen Stacy and deal with the character herself, of her responsibilities of being Ghost Spider and being everyday Gwen Stacy. And I think that's what's really going to make this series shine, if the writer can really hit home with that, you know? And so that's what I'm looking forward to with this series. So now, finally, issue 5, things are going to get rolling for the series. All right, so moving forward now to my number 6 most anticipated book, and this goes to Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 15. Chris Bachalo is still on the artwork. Not a fan of his artwork. I had a lot of people comment on my, comments about this Amazing Spider-Man book, and I'm just holding true to it. I'm aware of the Shed storyline. I read Spider-Man back then, and before Dan Slott was the regular artist on it. I didn't like Bachalo's artwork back then. I don't like it now. I thought the story was very filler issue, the last issue, and the only real story progression I felt that you got in it was Aunt May, the situation that happens to her at the end of the story. That makes it quite interesting, especially now that she's dealing with cancer from the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and things like that. So that could, cross over to those, to the other title. But when it came to everything else, you got one page of Kraven the Hunter, and that's the story that you're looking forward to as the reader. Everything else was like, this is Spider-Man, this is my history, this is the Lizard, this is my history. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, and if you've read this Amazing Spider-Man series in the past, you're going to know all this. Obviously, you got to do these things sometimes to, fill new readers in on what's going on. I get that, but just as a longtime Spider-Man fan, the last issue didn't hit it for me. And that was the first issue of this Nick Spencer series that I was disappointed in, just because it's the time where they're really kind of catching up on readers. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Kraven the Hunter story and everything else going forward. All right. So moving on now to our top 5, and our number 5 book this week is Dead Man Logan. This is issue 4 of 12. This series is good. I really like this series when it comes to Mysterio, and he was plotting the Avengers to go against Logan, and Logan in the last issue was battling the Avengers, and he was taking out the freaking armor of Tony Stark, Iron Man, and then finally, the spell wore off from Mysterio, and the X-Men kind of took Wolverine away, or Logan away, and there was this reference of Avengers versus X-Men thing, and you didn't want to see that again. So that made interesting plot line. And the big thing about what happened in the last issue is you saw that Mysterio found out that Miss Sinister is going to dump Mysterio when this whole thing is over, because they feel he can't be trusted and he can use the same trick on them. So what's Mysterio's endgame going to be with this series? And also in this issue, we're promised a fight between Hawkeye and Mysterio. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun there, guys. Alright, so moving on to number 4. This is Murder Falcon issue 5. Still $3.99 book. Really good book, guys, about a band member that's getting his band back together again. Due to the end of the world that is happening. He has this mysterious entity that's attached to his guitar. Obviously, that's the Murder Falcon thing. And it was really cool how he gets this band back together. But there's this underlining story of his battle of cancer. And it's a very heartwarming story. And we can relate to this character. And I think that's what makes this book so good. And in the last issue, you got to see him reunite with his wife, because he actually left his wife because he didn't have the will to live. And by the time we got to the end of that issue and he was saving the world, he felt that life was worth saving. And it was so cool to see that. Murder Falcon is a great book with some great art, very original story, just a lot of fun, guys. I definitely recommend it when it comes out on trade if you haven't read it yet. Great stuff, and it's got some cool heavy metal references in there, and it's got cool variant covers. So awesome stuff. That was the number 4 pick, and let's move on now to our top 3. All right, so my number 3 is Avengers No Road Home, issue 1. This is a $4.99 book, but it promises 36 pages, okay? And in this one, we have the same creative team, guys, as No Surrender. And if you liked that weekly series, you might like this one, because again, it is the same. That was weird. I got this weird message on my screen. Sorry. So, same creative team. And if you like that weekly series, you actually might like this one. Paco Mandina does the artwork. I think his artwork was beautiful in No Surrender. I don't know really what to expect from this series, but supposedly the gods are getting killed here. And so there's something going on that is killing gods, and whatever can kill a god is a very strong enemy, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. And in the last series, we were introduced to Voyager. So that was neat too. So I have high expectations. Let's hope it lives up to those expectations. Alright, so moving on to my number 2 most anticipated book of the week. And this goes to Criminal. This is issue 2, also $3.99 book. Loved issue 1. I thought issue 1 was phenomenal. Loved seeing the world of League Lawless, I think the dude's name was, on his history of being this crime person and how his kid bailed him out of jail. And all the people that are in his world, and now he has to pay this debt back, and in order to do this, he has this perfect plan. But at the end of the last issue, we got to see this narration saying, well, little does League Lawless know in a year from now he's going to be killed and blah, 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 blah. And it's just so funny. I want to see this journey that he goes on and to get to this actual point. I think Ed Brubaker is a wonderful writer. That's who writes this book. He wrote the Kill to Be Killed series. I love that one as well. I think it was a blast. I think this is a time where you guys can jump on Criminal if you can still find issue 1. Great stuff. Never read the previous stuff before. Maybe I should catch up on it to learn more about the character, but at least for now, I like this one. Alright, and my number 1 most anticipated book of the week goes to, once again, Detective Comics. This is issue 998, $3.99 book still, and we got the relevance of who is I think the person behind the creature that's been attacking Batman and killing all the people closest to him, and that was Hugo Strange. You got to see that at the end of the last issue, and I thought that was really cool. And the monster that he sent out was like a mixture of you know, Batman and all the people that was attached to him and whatnot. And again, it caused him a lot of pain because it killed Lee Tompkins and it killed the other guy, and it just almost killed Miracle Man or Mr. Miracle, and it was just an intense fight in the last issue between Batman and this creature, and the creature got eaten up by like sharks and piranhas and all this other stuff, and then Batman finally meets up with, again, Hugo Strange at the end, and it's all leading up to this issue 1000. We got this issue coming out, we got issue 999 coming out, and then boom, 10,000 covers later, you're going to have issue 1,000. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in this story. So, there you have it, guys. There are my top 10 most anticipated comics of the week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I love bringing this series to you. It seems like you guys have a lot of fun with it. Again, however many comics you're most anticipating, please put it in the comments below. I want to know what you guys are looking forward to, which books are on the hot seat for you, things that you're thinking about dropping. And as always, fans, if you like this video, again, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that all-important notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off, and enjoy those books, guys. Take care. Bye.